I'd like to welcome everybody to the video today. My name is James, alcoholic and addict, 26 years in addiction, 7.5 years clean and sober. Today I'm going to share a story with you from my addiction, and I'm going to title it, Don't Drink and Drive. This was very early on in my addiction. I was in my 20s. I was with some friends, and typical day I get up, I go over to pick them up, 3 buddies. We jump in my car, and we head over the river. I lived in Cincinnati at the time, so we head over the river to get some alcohol. Cheaper over there to go buy, so we head over there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We stop, we get the liquor, we start drinking, we're driving around, cruising the neighborhood, stopping at different people's houses that we know, drinking, and just fellowshipping and riding around the whole day. At some point during that day, I was driving, and I started feeling the effects. I started getting a little too tipsy, too drunk. And so I said, one of you guys are going to have to take over. At that point, I remember getting in the back seat of my car, still drinking, and at some point, I remember it still being daylight, but I blacked out. The next thing I remember is I kind of came to at this gas station that I stopped at for a second. I went in and I remember buying more beer and seeing some other people that I knew and shaking hands with them and stuff, and then getting back in my car, and I blacked out again because I don't remember anything after that until I'm riding down the street and I see the lights behind me. Once I seen the lights behind me, you know how it goes, I kind of sobered up a little bit and got my bearings back. And I just remember being so drunk when I'm drinking my 40 ounce as the cop is walking up to the car, and he taps on the glass. I roll down the window, and he just immediately tells me to get out of the car. So I get out of the car. He walks me around to the back. He starts searching me, patting me down and stuff. And then there's 2 other officers there, and they're pulling out bottles of liquor and cans and putting them on top of the car. And I remember when he came to the car, I looked around, and it just looked like somebody just emptied a trash bag in the car. It was just cans and bottles everywhere, and so they're patting me around in the back. And they take me over to the sidewalk, and they start asking me to do the field sobriety test. Touch your nose, walk a straight line, and I'm failing miserably at all of these things. And I just can't do it. I tell them I can't do it. I'm too drunk. I admit I'm drunk. I can't do it. Forget it. So, one of the officers gets in my face and he starts yelling, "What did you hit? What did you hit? What did you hit?" And I'm like, I was confused. I was in a confused state. I was drunk. I'm startled because I'm pulled over and all these things. And he's like yelling at me, "What did you hit? What did you hit? What did you hit?" And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they walk me around to the front of my car, and the front of my car is a V. The bumper smashed in all the way about halfway. I don't even see how I was running, but the front of it was an old school car, so the fender was metal. That's not even a thing nowadays, but the fender was metal, so it was bent in like this, and the 2 sides was sticking up. I don't even know how I was driving, or how the car was even runnable. And I told him, I don't know. I don't know what I hit. I don't understand. I don't know how that got like that. So they proceed to arrest me, and they take me to jail, and I sit in jail for 5 days, not knowing if I hit anybody, what I hit, if I killed someone. I just don't know. And, after that 5 days, they couldn't find or determine what I hit or if I hurt anyone. They didn't find that out, so I was let go. But those was the most agonizing, scary 5 days of my life, because I didn't know if I took a life or not. And the thing is, I drove drunk for 26 years. Every day I was behind the wheel with some sort of alcohol in me. It didn't stop me. And when I got into recovery, that's one of the things that I really had a lot of remorse and guilt and shame about, drinking and driving. Because I had seen on the news one day in my recovery that somebody went the wrong way on a highway and went headfirst into a car and killed somebody. And I have went the wrong way on a highway on the exit ramp, and luckily I was able to turn around. I've done that before. So it really gave me a lot of guilt and shame about this. I drove with my kids in the car. I drove with friends in the car. I drove with family in the car, drunk. I not only put my life in danger, but I put their life in danger as well. And early in my recovery, I got a chance to go to the prisons and speak and set up meetings and things like that. And it was a great experience for me. So humbling, because I would sit in there and I would talk to the guys after, the meeting, and we'd fellowship, and they'd share their stories with me, and I'd share mine with theirs. And many of the same things that they was in prison for and spending time for, I had done. So it was very humbling. Why me? Why me? Why do I get to walk out of those gates that day and they're locked up for years for the same things that I have done? It's only got to be my higher power. There's a greater purpose for me. And that's why I try to share these videos in hopes that it will help somebody. It's not for likes. It's not for views. It's not for subscriptions. It's not to get money. It's just to share a little piece of me in hopes that maybe somebody can hear it and change their life around and not have to go through the things that I went through. Addict Thoughts Entertainment. James, I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for listening.